Hi everyone, Michael from Doing Life Together. Hope you are safe and well. This week we're taking a look at this big concept, this idea, this thing we call self-care. And self-care, simply put, is how you and I, how intentional are we about looking after ourselves and our own well-being across a wide range of domains. And it's super important because looking after our own self-care keeps our energy levels, our charge levels, our water levels, if you like, at the right level to be able to engage, to connect, to grow, develop, to be a human being. When we don't pay attention to our self-care, those levels can fall pretty quickly and pretty drastically. And if they get to the bottom levels of those tanks or those batteries, all sorts of gunk can come out from the bottom of our tanks and into our life and wreak havoc, or make things really uncomfortable for us, or start us using really unhelpful tools in our day-to-day interactions. So self-care is super important. One of the things that plays a major role in our self-care is the way in which you and I see ourselves, and by extension, see other people. You know, there's an old saying that you and I, we can be our own harshest critic. And it's true. When you and I look at ourselves in the mirror, or just think about things that go on in our life, or reflect on how we did in something, or our performance in something, or how people see us, very quickly we can turn to being highly critical of things we've done, or putting ourselves down, or shaming ourselves, or saying, oh, I should do this better, or I should do that, or I don't do that like so-and-so. And we compare ourselves to other people, and we start to do all these things that are unhelpful tools that start to craft an unhelpful narrative or thought process. And what's really important for us to know is our thoughts are really powerful. They stick around our mind just turns round and round and round a long time after we've consciously stopped thinking about them. Now, this is what we call looking through a broken window. So when we look at ourselves through a mirror, just thinking about back on our life, back on our day, back on our week, we can very easily start to hold a broken window up towards ourselves. And think about this for a sec. When you look through the lens of a broken window, you notice everything that's broken about it, the glass that's smashed, the things that need to be solved, fixed, put back together, and you can start to be really critical about how all this works. And you can miss seeing the value, the worth, the gifts, the abilities, the potential that's sitting right behind that window. Now, this is not just for us, by the way. We do this when we look at other people as well. We're out and about and we start putting up this lens of a broken window. And so straight away, we look at what's different about people, or what worries us, or what we're uncomfortable with, or what we notice is not what we would like, or what annoys us about them. All of these things come to light. And it's this, by the way, this is where we find the basis for, how we discriminate against people, or the basis of racism. All of these things stem from the way we view people. The broken window can do a lot of damage if we allow that to be the place that we see ourselves and we see others from. An exercise that we like to do is to help people practice what it looks like to see themselves and see others through the lens or the eyes of compassion. So if you hold up a love heart with your hands like this and look at yourself through the mirror and stare at yourself for a few minutes, what do you see? The eyes of compassion invite us to see what we do well, what our gifts are, what our talents are, what we have to offer the wider world, what we have to offer our family, our friends, our workplace, our school, our classmates. They offer us a chance to be kind to ourselves, to have grace with ourselves, and most importantly, to see ourselves with inherent value and worth. And to say to ourselves, it doesn't matter what goes on in our life, it doesn't matter what we do or what happens, or if we make a mistake or we don't quite do our best job at something. Those things are going to happen regardless. But to say to ourselves, forgetting all of that, none of that can take away my value and worth as a human being. Now imagine what happens to your self-care when you turn that lens on yourself, when you start to have a different conversation with yourself. But now imagine as you start to project that lens out and about in your connections, in your spheres of influence, your workplace, your school, your classroom, your family, your community, when you start to walk around looking at people through the eyes of compassion, when you start to say, that person over there, regardless of their story, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of what's happened in their life, they are a human being with inherent value and worth. And that's how I'm going to treat them. That person over there, they have inherent value and worth. They have something to offer the world. They may not have found it yet, but I'm going to work with them. I'm going to encourage them. I'm going to grow them however I can to unleash their potential. I'm going to do the same with me, with my family, with my classmates, with my colleagues. The eyes of compassion can be incredibly powerful as a tool in our own self-care and how we encourage the development of other people. So this week, do a little exercise for yourself. Head down to your local supermarket or park or wherever you are, and don't hold your hands up as you're walking around. People will point at you, but imagine you are, and just sit somewhere for a moment, or just walk up and down the shopping aisles and just look at people, and as you see them, go, that person has inherent value and worth. How do I show value to them today? By saying hi, by connecting. What do you notice in that person? In your workplace, try the same thing. Look at people through these eyes of compassion. What do you notice? What do you see? If you're a teacher, go into your classroom this week, do the same. Look at all of your children through these eyes of compassion. What do you see? What do you notice? What do they have to offer? In your family, do this same thing. What can be really powerful if you're up for it and up to do something that's a little bit confronting, but at the same time can be so powerful developmentally, is sit with someone else, whether it be your partner, whether it be a family member, whether it be a colleague, whatever it might be, and sit there together looking at each other through these eyes of compassion for a few moments. And debrief with each other. What do you notice? What do you see? What changes? So there you go. The eyes of compassion, a really useful tool we find to navigate how we look at ourselves and how we look at others. This changes the way we treat ourselves. This changes the way we treat other people. And when we start moving in this direction, we move in a conversation that says every human being has inherent worth, no matter their story, no matter where they've come from. And my role as a human being in this great experience that we call life is to value people, to see their value, to see their worth, and to behave in such a way, to connect in such a way that encourages that no matter what. We've had a great time spending some more time with you today. We hope you have a great week, and we look forward to talking again real soon.